You're going to be Ryan Poles. I'll be Omar Khan. In retrospect, ahead of the NFL trade deadline this past year, I call you in to say, hey, we want a second-round pick for Chase Claypool. At the time, I know you're trying to pay to keep the lights off, keep Claypool away from the Packers, but how quickly are you hanging up the phone in retrospect with this deal, Joey?
Are you sure you don't want our newly acquired Ravens pick? It's pick 54. Good number. It's a good number. Look, as it stands right now, Steelers Nation, this is a gigantic win for the Steelers. Lo and behold, the Steelers move on from a wide receiver and they win out again. Surprise, surprise. A headline that I've never read before. For the Chicago Bears, I do have to say, though, for the Chicago Bears at this time, it is an INC. It's an incomplete just for right now.
I agree. Of course, I agree.
Because, look, when he came on for the Chicago Bears, and look, this could be an indictment on Chase Claypool. This could also be, hey, let's wait and see how it goes, because the only thing that they were letting him do was run go routes, comebacks, and bubble screens. That was it. And honestly, those three things that they were letting him do, they only let him run it maybe 10 to 12 times a game. They were not playing him every single snap. And I think a big part of it also was that the way that we ran our offense, we were trusting our wide receivers to do a lot of blocking in the outside run zone scheme. So if he wasn't able to pick up those blocks or understand a little bit of what we were trying to do out there with our bad offensive line, maybe we weren't able to just kind of throw him out there for a ton of snaps and just see what happens. So let's give the guy the offseason. As you guys know, that he is coming up for a contract after the end of next year. He is going to be incentivized. Does he have a long-term future with the Chicago Bears? I don't know at this time, but I think the reason why we made this trade was to try and give Justin some more people around him, not to help him succeed tomorrow, but to try and give us some more evidence to say, this is our guy. Justin Fields, we know with the legs, we know with the head, we know with the heart, we don't know with the arm yet. And a lot of people are criticizing him for his arm. Can he pass the ball? We need to give him more opportunities to provide more evidence to close the case on that. So, the fact that it turned into the 32nd pick is incredible for the Steelers. What a move. And let's be honest, you guys are going to draft someone amazing at the wide receiver position again, as you do every single year. It makes me so wildly upset. For those people that don't know, George Pickens, outside of the main names, right? I just knew that the Bears were picking at 39 last year. George Pickens was my favorite wide receiver out of the bunch, over Watson, over a bunch of people. Obviously not over Olave and Wilson. Let's be real.
Sure.
And, lo and behold, where does he end up? He goes to wide receiver university with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So good for Pittsburgh right now, but I'm curious to hear on you. I mean, it's a wait and see with the Chicago Bears, right? I'm not giving up on him.
Yeah. I'm with you there, and that's short-sighted, especially mid-season, to pick up new concepts and everything, and you don't have the rapport that you would with the quarterback as you'll have during training camp, preseason, just to develop that continuity does take time. And we saw it with Kenny Pickett in his receivers, because he gets inserted week 4, and it's not smooth sailing from when he took over right away. And that's because, in the offseason and training camp and the preseason, he's not getting those first team reps with the first team. That takes time to build. So right now it's looking great, especially considering how everything shaped out. But Claypool, he has all of the tools, the size, the speed, everything you'd want in a receiver. For him, it's between the ears. If he can put it together, I think he has all the ability in the world, but it's the consistency for him that's going to be the big thing. And we'll see, because in a contract season, money talks. So if he wants to prove his worth, and going into last season, he made headlines saying he's a top 3 receiver in the league. I don't think he's anywhere near that, but he does have that big playability. We saw it as a rookie. As a rookie, he scores 11 touchdowns, which was a Steelers franchise rookie record. Think of all the great players the Steelers have had, all the great receivers they've had. He tied a franchise rookie record with 11 touchdowns a few years back. You got to get him in the paint again and find creative ways to get him the ball. And we'll see if the Bears can do that this upcoming season. Thrilled to have the 32nd pick, though, Joey. That was it's icing on the cake. It's almost like having another first-round pick if you're the Steelers.
Well, it kind of is, Mark. It is
It's
right
great.
because the
It's great.
Dolphins aren't getting their pick. Look, I mean, I'm with you, and don't forget too as well. End arounds, those little shovel passes in between the tackles in the red zone. Those are other areas where Chase Claypool can definitely help a team like the Chicago Bears. And you need more big guys in a red zone, which I think the Bears eventually did improve in the red zone with Justin Fields by the end of the season. But again, something that they need to continue to work on moving forward. My final thought on this, and I just want to get your perspective on it, is you talked about in between the ears, and just what do you, if you could just kind of hypothesize a little bit, what happened with Claypool and the Steelers? Was it an immaturity issue? I mean, we all know a little bit of, he decided to, when he went into the media and asked them to play music during practice, and then Tomlin had to go out and publicly kind of just say, I'm the one. What did he say? I'm the one that delineates the structure, or like, it's such an amazing line. But it's just something that you don't do, right? You don't do. And it almost felt like from that moment on, Chase Claypool's days were numbered in a Steelers uniform. I can't say that those are completely correlated, but we all know that he is no longer on the team. So attitude wise, do you think overblown, properly blown with Chase Claypool right now? And what kind of growing up does he still need to do?
I'll say properly, because I did see some maturity, but the turning point, Joey, was that Minnesota game a year ago where Steelers are trying to rally a furious comeback win, and he decides to do the celebration, marking the first down. That's like, wait a second, the clock is not your friend here, and hurry up, snap, and get the ball to the line of scrimmage so you can snap the ball to either spike it and conserve as much clock as possible. So it's one thing to do that. Other thing now has to acknowledge, yep, I goofed that play. I've got to be better about the situational awareness of what it takes to win a football game in this league. But he doubles down, and I forget his exact answer, but was saying how, that this isn't a problem. And when it affects your wins and losses in this league affects people's ability to be employed in the NFL. When that to me was the turning point. I'm not saying that is the reason the Steelers traded him, but that was a turning point to me, to where it's to say, hey, let's see what else we got. And the Steelers draft 2 receivers, not just George Pickens, who we all know and love, but Calvin Austin III, who didn't play a snap this season on IR all year long. He didn't play at all as a rookie. So Steelers don't have a problem drafting and developing young receivers. And they decided to go with Deontay Johnson to give the big contract extension to on the eve of this past season. So with Claypool's days numbered, it's like you can't keep everybody, and you go from there.
Well, and it says a lot too, right? They decided to extend Deontay, and they didn't even, they did not get to that place with Chase Claypool. And yeah, and to your point too, as well, when you're on a Steelers team where the last 2 seasons, your playoff, whether you're in the playoffs or not, comes down to the final game, and everything's close like that. Yeah, you need to be on your P's and Q's and execute. And unfortunately, Chase Claypool had some moments that just did not look great in the moment. You know what I mean? And now hopefully he gets 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns for the Bears.
Hey, he's in the
Moving
NFC,
on.
so I don't mind. Yes.